Hello everyone. We are now on the recorded lecture on land tax, stamp duty tax, and then other related taxes. This lecture will cover particularly these two, land tax and stamp duty, and also we'll have some discussion on other related tax. Now in land tax, uh, the land tax is imposed under or administered under Lands Department, okay, through the legislation's Lands Act. Now the land tenure, if the land tenure or the land is owned by the state, then the lease will be for a period not exceeding 99 years. Okay, so various types such as agricultural, residential, commercial, or mission leases, the lease will not be exceeding 99 years. So it can be renewed, but then again, the contract shall not exceed 99 years. The tax will be charged at 5%. Now take note of this. It says unimproved value of the land. So meaning those land improvements that you provided on or created on the land will not be included in calculation of tax. And the value will be reassessed every 10 years. Now, land tax is often seen as wealth tax. The valuation will be quite difficult. The procedure also on paying tax may be quite complicated. You have to consider inflation, revaluation of property, okay, and that actually will have a different amount that you will pay. Now, stamp duty is either an adhesive stamp uh, or the instrument itself, okay, must be lodged in IRC. Now, the payment will be depending on the classification of the transaction or the document. There will be flat rate or ad valorem rate. So later we will discuss that. So you need to pay this so that the documents will be recognized and or shall we say legally recognized. And in some requirement, it will be enforceable. Now, bank account debits tax imposed only this year does not require the transaction to be stamped. Okay, nevertheless, impose a duty on transaction. So these are certain questions that you need to ask in determining if the transaction or the document is liable for stamp duty. So the first question, is the instrument one which is subject to a flat rate of duty? If so, can the flat rate of duty be paid by affixing an adhesive stamp? Or must the instrument be lodged at the stamp duties office? So the next question, is the instrument subject to an ad valorem rate of duty? And if so, what are the appropriate rates of duty that apply? The third, it says here, if the instrument is subject to an ad valorem duty and or has to be lodged at stamp duties office, at what time must the instrument be lodged at stamp duties office for assessment and payment? So these three questions must be asked first before we know if the transaction or document shall have the stamp duty paid. Now the payment should be within 60 days when you execute a document, leases or conveyances or mortgages. So if you executed those instruments, you are given within 60 days to pay the stamp duty. Of course, if you don't pay, there will be penalties. Exceptions will be applied if IRC permits the transaction or document to be exempted on that number of days submission. Now, if you need the evidence or you need the document as an evidence, if it is unstamped and it is required to be stamped and you fail to do it, then that will not be used or cannot be used as evidence on any court. The rates will be combination or one of these flat and ad valorem duties. Okay. Now, in ad valorem, there will be a fixed rate or uh, percentage. Okay, there will be 10 kina, greater than 10 kina, or 2% of the value of the consideration of the transaction if it is below 1,000 kina. Then there will be a progressive increase up to 5% if the value exceeded 100,000 kina. Now, what are the documents that needs to be stamped? Okay. If you are a real estate agent, so you need to pay stamp duty on leases, more conveyances, transfers of properties, mortgages. So any transaction or legal documents related to this needs to be stamped. If you are operating an insurance company, insurance policy and similar items should be stamped. If you are a stockbroker, you need to pay duty on share transfers and other corporate documents. If you're operating a bank or similar institution, you need to pay stamp duty on mortgage document or various forms of securities. If you are a lawyer, then you need to pay or you need to make sure that your legal documents, conveyances, transfers, etc. are stamped. Now, non-profit entities and government authorities are generally exempt from tax. Some transactions such as duty on loans or mortgages for first home buyers are exempted. More details can be seen on the link stamp duty under the My IRC. Thank you for your time listening to the lecture. Hope you learned something.